if I know how to do this anymore. I don't know if I know how to do this. What do I normally say? Hey guys, what's important? Like I'm back. As to what happened, as to guys, I don't know if I know how to do this anymore. But anyways, hello, hi. Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sunshine Z, and if you are new here, you are welcome. If you like the content on this channel, please do like and comment and consider subscribing. And if you are a subscriber, if you have stayed this long, if you stayed a subscriber this long without any videos, no explanations, just AWOL, thank you. Thank you. And I don't laugh because I'm making light of it, but yo guys, like I don't even know where to begin. I don't know where to begin. Okay, so let's start here. I do hope that you are well. I hope that you've been in good health. I hope that you are evolving and becoming a better version of yourself. I certainly feel like 2023 has been that year for me, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about what I've learned during this year. But I'm sure you're wondering, where have I been? And honestly speaking, if I went into where I've been and what I've been up to and why I haven't uploaded the video, it would take like 5 hours for us to get through that, because so much has happened. Like a lot happened in my life. For example, I moved twice. So I moved from my previous place last year, December the 15th. Moved into an Airbnb for about a month and a half, and then moved into a place that I thought would be semi-permanent, but that didn't quite work out, and I recently just moved again. So where I am is like the 4th place that I'm staying at in a matter of 12 months. So just that should explain part of why I haven't been on YouTube. But honestly speaking, a lot of it is just not being able to manage my time wisely. Guys, just please pray for me in 2024. I need to do better with that, and I'm recommitting myself to my channel. So if you are new here and you do subscribe, I am recommitting, to being consistent. I'm going to work on it. I will definitely be working on it. Like that's just the bottom line of it, is that I wasn't prioritizing making videos. But as I said, it's because a lot of life changes took place over the last year, and I mean, it's taken so much for me to even get to this point where I switched on the camera. I've been threatening to do this for months, and at some point I was like I didn't even know, let me stop trying to explain it. I've been well though. God has been good to me, and as I said, I do hope you are well. Please just say hi in the comment section. I would really appreciate it, especially all the subscribers that I had or still have, hopefully. Do say hi briefly, let me know how you're doing, and what's been going on with you, and let's get into this video. In today's video, I will be sharing with you 3 lessons that I learned in 2023. Actually, I learned a lot. However, I think these are like sort of my top 3, if I can put it that way, or just the 3 that I really wanted to share. Let's put it that way. These are the 3 lessons that I would like to share with you. that I've learned over the year 2023. I think I've already mentioned one of the things that I really struggle with and I hope to work on in 2024. So time management, like managing our time is such an important thing, and I think it's going to be such a big thing for me in the coming year. I'm so excited. But I was saying to a friend of mine actually that, you know, I'm optimistic, but at the same time I'm nervous because I realize that nothing will change unless something changes. So that just simply means that if I don't actively and intentionally change certain things, nothing's going to change. So anyways, let's get into lesson number 1. I'm just getting my notes here, but I've actually changed lesson number 1, so okay. So lesson number 1 is that, and this is a big thing for me, it's one of those lessons that I just feel like I wish I had learned this sooner, you know, because it would have just saved me so much time and effort, you know. And the lesson that I learned this year is that I am not a savior. I am not a savior. And I know that might sound like, okay, duh. But as somebody who's lived the majority of their lives trying to save people, right? And the thing is about such things is that it's not like a bad thing. It's a seemingly, you know, good thing. You know, you're always trying to help people. And I think the difference between helping people is that you can help people as long as they want to be helped and as long as they're still accepting your help. However, when you have this sort of savior mentality and savior complex, if you will, you are constantly trying to just like, even when they don't want to, you're trying to save them. And I laugh about this now, but guys, when I realized this about myself and it hit me that I've wasted so much energy, I've wasted so much time, so much effort, you know, where I was really just trying to save people. But the truth of the matter is, and I've always known this, but I guess I didn't really quite understand it, is that only Jesus can save. Only Jesus can save people. And you can try your best. I mean, some of us have been Bob the Builders. If you get it, you get it. If you don't get it, it's okay. And it hasn't, well, let me speak for myself. It hasn't rewarded me. It hasn't really quite worked out. I won't say that I haven't managed to help people, but like I said, there's a difference between helping people and trying to save people. And sometimes you are working so hard to try and make people something that they are not, or you're trying so hard to make them see something that they simply do not see. And I finally just laid that down. I said, you know what? I'm not a savior. Only Jesus Christ is the savior of the world. So you know what I do? Especially when, you know, people try and, you know, come tell me the same problem that they've had for the last 5 years, whatever, right? I can pray for them. You know, I simply empathize with them, you know, and that's all I can do. I am not trying to insert myself into people's business and trying to change their life situations, because at the end of the day, they need to make those decisions, you know. So I can only advise, but like I'm saying, certain people, you've been advising them, so, you know. But I can only, you know, share what I think would be the best way out of it. But normally I even say to them, listen, pray about it. And I think that's the most freeing thing I've ever done for myself, you know. I've managed to unload so much baggage that I kept carrying with me because I kept trying to solve everybody's problems, and the worst part about that is that you don't even have time for your own problems. So that's the major lesson that I've had in 2023. One more thing I wanted to add to that first lesson is that we can hold space for one another, and I've not only learned this but I've experienced this this year, when I saw that friends of mine would hold space for me but not necessarily solve my problem for me. That's when I learned that, oh, I can do the same for others. You know, I can make you feel heard, I can make you feel seen. And by the way, when somebody shares their problems, do try to be conscious not to divert the conversation to be about you. You might have experienced a similar thing, but you know, it's a bit selfish to try and make it just like about you. Sometimes when somebody's sharing something with you about what they're going through, unless it's necessary, unless it's part of what you feel might help them solve the problem, you know, it might not be necessary to always make it about you and your own experiences. So that's what I mean by make them feel heard, make them feel seen, validating how they are feeling, you know, not just saying, you know, I've spoken about toxic positivity, you know, not just saying, oh, get over it, or it'll be fine, you know, but genuinely being there, hearing them. And like I said, you don't have to necessarily help them. You can direct them to where help can be found if you know where they can find help. Some people might need therapy and things like that. But really the best thing you can do for people after they've shared with you, after you've held the space with them, is pray for them. Like that's the best you can do, because as I said, Jesus Christ is the Savior. So, you know, they've come and told you what's happening, and you just simply redirect them, like I said, to the necessary places or back to Christ. Not me losing sunlight as I'm filming, but yeah, that's what happens when you procrastinate it almost the whole day. But anyways, lesson number 2 of what I've learned in 2023 is that it's okay to ask and it's okay to accept help. Oh, another freeing thing. And I think this tells you a lot about how I've lived my life. Hey, like this whole super independence thing is something that, you know, I sat down with this year and I said, hey, you know, what is your deal? You know, because super independence is a trauma response, and you don't have to stay that way. The same way I think I've spoken about perfectionism on this channel and how I'm a recovering perfectionist. I'm now adding I'm a recovering super independent person. I'm working my way to becoming an independent person and not super independent. And what that simply means is that I am learning to ask for help, and I'm also learning to receive help when it is offered. It's challenging because, you know, most times when you're so used to doing things yourself, you sort of get used to doing them a certain way. And I think that's the part that I'm struggling with a lot, is doing things a certain way. But it's really just, it's been so freeing to know that it's okay. It's okay. You can ask for help. You can receive help. You don't have to do everything yourself. I'm talking to you, super independent person. Let people in. However, my third lesson also kind of, it's difficult. It's a difficult sort of thing to adjust to, because sometimes people don't know where to stop. right? And let me just go into my third lesson of the year, and it's not a 2023 specific lesson. I think it's a lesson that I'm still on, probably for the past 2 or 3 years I've been on this lesson, but I feel that I grow and I become better at it, and that is setting boundaries. Boundaries are a big thing for me, and I feel like I'm getting a little bit better at setting boundaries with people. But as I said, the problem with some of these things is that people are people. So some people can be offering help, but also they can be overstepping on a boundary. And that's sort of like you know, it's a difficult thing to sort of manage, you know, where are my boundaries and where am I being super independent, right? How far do I allow people in, and where do I draw those boundaries? So it's almost like it's opposites that you're trying to learn at the same time, you know, because a life without boundaries is not it, you know. You need to, as a healthy adult person who wants to have healthy relationships, you do need to set boundaries. And anyone who doesn't like your boundaries was probably benefiting from you not having those boundaries. So it's okay to say that, you know what, these are the hours that I'm available, and have boundaries even just with capacity as well. You know, you can't always be on, as I said, you know, even with my first lesson about saving people, you know, certain people want you to be available whenever it is that they need you to be available, you know, and it's just like, you know, only be available only when I want you to be available. But setting boundaries is also about being able to say, listen, during this period of time, I'm going to be focusing on something else, something that is a priority to me, because people have a tendency to make their priorities as though it's your priority, you know, so be careful with that as well. But I think I'm going to share a lot more on the whole boundaries thing as I learn about it myself, and not just learn about it, but try and enforce them. One of the most important lessons I think for me about boundaries this year was that you can't just set boundaries and you yourself not respect those boundaries. So if you've set a boundary, even you need to adhere to that boundary, because the biggest problem is that, you know, you can have a boundary and you expect everybody else to understand this boundary, but you yourself are not enforcing it. Because the thing is, people will push you. One thing about people, they will push you, but it's up to you to say, hey, these are my boundaries, these are my limits, and this is how far this can go, this is how far I'm comfortable with giving in terms of my time, especially time. As I said, I'm going through a time thing where I've realized that we spend a lot of our time on things that most times are very unnecessary. And you know, the one thing that I've learned in life is that takers will constantly take. They will take and take and take, you know, they don't stop taking. So as a person who's a giver, and I'm sure it's not the first time I'm saying this, but as a person who's a giver, you need to know when to stop the taking, or at what point enough is for you. All right, and that's what a boundary is. It's to say, this at this point, this is what is enough for me, and that's as far as I'm willing to go, and be willing to lose people if that's what it means. As I said, you know, people who are used to abusing you, who are used to, and by abuse I mean abnormal use, so people who are just dependent on you availing yourself whenever they need you to avail yourself, they won't like it. And some of them might be like, you know, I don't want to have any dealings with you anymore. Be willing to lose that because you are setting healthy boundaries. As I said, I think I should do a video on this at some at a later point, but yeah, that's what I learned. Those are the things I wanted to share that stood out for me. I've learned a lot in the year 2023, and I hope to learn a lot more, God willingly, in the year 2024, and I hope you're excited about it. And as I said, I am recommitting myself to my channel, and if you've watched until this point, I really appreciate it. Please do like, do comment, share with me what your thoughts are on this topic, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. Until then, do take care, love and light to you all.